Hey, yo, what's up, tribe? Welcome to today's video where I'm going to talk to you about how to f up. No. Oh, wrong four-letter F word. Today, we're going to talk about how to fail, and more importantly, understand why failure is important for growth and why you should embrace this idea that things may not always go the way you expect. So let's talk about someone like you. Let's talk about someone with ambition, someone who wants to do things in life, someone who wants to grow bigger in terms of stronger, bigger in life, whatever it happens to be. In order to do that, you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to make mistakes. We all do it. Even the best has done it. What really separates us out from those who have no ambition is the fact that we're willing to pick ourselves up, move on, and improve from it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's think about things that embody what failure is. You probably might think about when you were in school and you literally failed a class. You might think about, if we go back to New Year's resolutions, maybe there was a New Year's resolution that you didn't succeed with. Some of us have major failures in our lives. A divorce. Maybe we've dropped out of school or got kicked out of school. Maybe you tried to start a business and you didn't just lose investor money, but you lost family members' money. You lost your own personal money. There's a lot that can happen. Hey, maybe you got fired. All this negative stuff. The idea here is to find a positive in that negative. Failure is the inevitable result of taking a risk. You have to take risks in life if you really want to move forward. And so the key thing here is, with that risk, that means the more risk, the bigger chance of failure, but the greater chance of reward as well. And that's the ultimate prize, right? Whether that reward is a great family, whether that reward is a successful business, whether that reward is just getting what you really want in life. It's not going to be given to you. You've got to take the risk to grab at it. So let's be real here. A lot about life is a competition. People want that first place, that second place, that third place. And you can't share first place. Normally, you can't share first place. So in that, life sucks. Only one person can be at the top. Now, I'm not saying that you want first place, but what I'm really underscoring here is how important it is to understand that even when you're doing everything right, you can still fail. And it doesn't make you a failure. It just means that you didn't achieve what you were looking to do. The true failure, the true mistake, is the failure that you don't learn from. And in the end, that's what succeeding through failure really means. It means finding what went wrong and fixing it, if anything went wrong. Let's put a simple 3-step framework for recovery from failure that you can think of if you'd like something to really wrap your head around and put some focus into so that you can move on from something that didn't happen the way you were hoping it would happen. Step 1 could be looking at something that you could have done differently and what lessons you might learn from that. Think about someone who races. Think about you're in that 5K, maybe you're going for a PR or a sub time, whether it's sub 19, I know that's a goal for a lot of people. Or think about you wanted that promotion, you got beat out for that promotion. In the case of the race, and let's say you wanted to win first place in your age group or first place overall in the entire race, and you don't win. Why didn't you win? Was it your fault? Or was it someone that just trained better than you? This happens all the time. This could happen with a promotion as well. You might not get a promotion because you worked hard, but did you work hard enough? Or in some cases, did someone just know someone else and that's what happened? So what's the lesson from that? You have to network a little bit more. What's the lesson from the race? Maybe you have to train a little bit harder. Maybe you just have to go to a race where there might not be as advanced runners going to that particular race. All you need to do is look at what you could have done differently, if anything at all. Again, sometimes you may fail at something and it's not because you did anything wrong. It's just because someone did something just a little bit better than you. There's an adage in life that you might be the best at one thing, but there's going to be someone who's better at you than something else. It's okay. People trade these positions all the time. All you have to do is look for when it's right for you. The second piece of advice that I would give here is just look for it as an opportunity to grow. You've just learned something about yourself. You've learned something that caused you to not do what you were hoping you would do. So let's use the abstinence example. Let's say that you're trying to cut out alcohol. Let's say you're trying to cut out sweets. Maybe you're trying to take 10,000 steps a day. I use Duolingo in my New Year's resolution example. So maybe you're trying to do some sort of streak on Duolingo or Babbel or whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's say you miss that one time. So first of all, what caused you to miss it? So that's the first piece of that. The second is, what do you learn from it? Maybe you just learn that every now and then you're going to have a weak moment and you need something to think about to get you through some of those weaker moments. And by the way, having a weak moment doesn't make you a weak person at all. Everyone, from The Rock, from Arnold Schwarzenegger, to the President of the United States, has moments of weakness where they didn't do something that they were hoping to do. It's okay when you don't do it, but it's only okay if you're looking for a way to find your way past it. The final piece of this quick 3-part framework that I want to give you is to think about whether it actually makes sense to try again. The thing you want to think about is what your reasons are for doing whatever it is you're trying to do. So you want to think about toxic reasons. So in other words, if you're trying to do something just for sheer revenge, well, that's something that could just eat up inside you. And maybe that's part of the reason that you weren't able to succeed. Now, I know there's some things that we do in our life, from, maybe getting fit because someone insulted us, or maybe getting a promotion because you were really angry that you didn't get the promotion before, or in a situation that was really humbling for me, I told a student that wasn't so successful in my class that maybe something else should be where she should go, and she used that to fire up her passions and actually started 2 successful businesses. I was very proud of her, even though I was a little upset that she had interpreted my words as find some other job. That's actually pretty good if you're looking at having good positive results in the end. The one thing I want to caution you about is anything that's just about getting back at a person for the sake of getting back at that person. So I'm comparing getting back at someone versus I'm going to show them I'm going to be successful. You want to be in that latter half. Another thing to watch out for, besides that toxic revenge or the toxic passion, if you will, is this idea of sunk costs. You've put so much time into doing something that you have to do it. You must do it. Sometimes there are just things that we aren't built to do. Take me, for example. I would love to run a 5-minute mile. However, to do that, I would really have to hurt my body to train to that level. I know I've been there before. I've been able to drop below a 6-minute mile, and I know exactly what I would have to do in order to get that done. And I also know what kind of pain that would cause my body. And so I'd have to check my sunk costs at the door and say, is it worth the long time damage to do that? And so that's where you want to make sure that you explore whatever goal you happen to be going for, and make sure that it's actually right for you and healthy for you to go into that direction. Part of this is making sure that you have the right support, your family, your friends, to get behind you to help you achieve that goal. So there's a number of types of things that you might be looking to do in your life that you may not have succeeded in the way that you envisioned yourself succeeding. First of this might be something like your habits. I mentioned before in terms of abstaining from alcohol or sugar. Some people want to exercise every single day. Some people may just want to reduce negativity out of their life. That's great. Just because you failed one day or 2 days in a row doesn't mean you can take us 2 steps back and say, wait, I don't want to lose the momentum I've had. I want to keep going forward. So again, just look at what happened, what caused it, look at what lessons you can learn, and say, I'm going to do this. The second are major goals. And so sometimes you may have failed enough that you have to reassess the goals. Don't be ashamed to reassess your goals just because you missed a week or 2 and you may have a setback. It's okay because you're still a little bit further forward than you would have been previously. So if we want to say a weight loss goal or a weight gain goal, if you're looking to put muscle on, and let's say you fall off for a week, you might have exams, you could have a business trip that you're on. That's okay. You just need to adjust it so that in the end, you're still more successful than you would have been had you quit. Sometimes these are major milestones. Maybe sometimes you thought that you were going to get married by a certain age or promoted by a certain age. Just assess the goal and reassess what makes sense in your life. One thing you want to make sure you don't do is allow missing a major milestone to hold you back from seeking something else that'll be just as rewarding as that major milestone would have been. I mentioned life's mistakes in the past. Getting fired is not a big deal, and oftentimes many people who get fired actually do very well in the job market afterwards. They find it to be something that, like I said before, fired them up to be able to get a better job. I spoke to one former student who, unfortunately, due to the lockdowns from the pandemic, was laid off, and he was stuck. And for about a week, you lick your wounds. That's perfectly normal when something like that happens. But after you're done licking your wounds, you look for something else. And what he was so happy about was that not only did he find a new job, but he found a better job, and he realized that he wouldn't have achieved his potential at that first job. So when it comes to things like getting fired, you have an opportunity to see if the grass is actually greener on the other side. And many times it is, and many times just having a positive perspective on the situation can allow you to grow. Now, a lot of you might say, okay, but I got fired. It's going to be hard for me to find a job if I just said I got fired. Well, if that comes up in the interview, leverage number 2. Simply talk about what you learned from the experience of getting fired and how you're sure that whatever deficiency existed at the previous organization is not going to manifest at your present organization. Another thing I think is important, don't be afraid to talk about your failures. Look, guys, I've been fired. I've had situations where I was pushed out of a company because of bad things. I've used them as lessons. I've been able to talk about them. There will be a time where you're going to need to lick your wounds, to reassess things, especially if it's a huge failure. Take the moment to do that. Just don't dwell in it and don't dwell in the negative. Say to yourself, how am I going to be better from this? Talk to your friends, talk to your family, and be like, look, I screwed up. Hey, can you be honest with me and tell me what you think I could have done better in that situation? Filter it through whatever you need to. Say, here's how I'm going to improve from that. Get that new job, push towards that new goal, start that new business, whatever it happens to be. But don't be afraid to talk about your failures and share them with other people so you can normalize what it's like to screw up, but then recover from it. And you can be a guiding light and an example for other people in your life, especially those who might look up to you. Hey, all right, tribe, just remember, risk equals reward, but it also risks failure. It's not a big deal if you fail. All you have to do is learn from it, figure out how you can grow, and bounce back and be so much better. You have an opportunity every single time you don't meet a goal or you don't meet an objective. And that's the opportunity for growth and improvement. So here's to your successful failures. And I hope you're going to be better tomorrow than you were today. And I hope you're better today than you were yesterday. Keep it real, tribe.